Hi, good morning, everybody. We're so glad that you guys could come to hang out with us this morning on the Coffee Table Talks. Today, we're going to be discussing ISACA and you. Well, mostly Will and Brandy and me, but you guys, you know how the chat works. Put questions in it. Say things that are nice. Don't be mean. Behave yourselves.
Do the typey thingy.
Do the typies with the enter buttons and punctuation, preferably, but optional. All right, so everybody, let's hi and cheers to Brandy, the vice president of the Baton Rouge chapter for ISACA. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I didn't, I've been your biggest fan since my whole ISACA career, which has been like 2 months. Right? That's a long time. So super long. We were discussing it off camera, you guys. I was like, I love Brandy. I don't even know what Brandy does. I have no idea. Not really. I just know Brandy does things, and I love it. Basically, how I got asked to be on the board with the local ISACA chapter. 1, I just really want to be helpful. 2, I'm pretty sure John Davis, as Brandy stated before we went live, literally took me and hurled me at our president and said, Rachel will help you.
The engagement here.
That was like a genie when you rub the bottle. I was like, poof, what do you need? Ta-da! Like that was,
You appreciate that reference.
I can do it a lot. It's like, oh, no, I can't duck that far, you guys. I'm not that agile. Anyhow, so thank you, Brandy, for coming to hang out with us. If you notice my camera is slightly askew, we're just going to go with it and call it a fancy Instagram angle. I've got this thing like electric. It's so bad.
It just proves what you can do if you have the inclination.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm going to slowly just start moving myself over like I'm falling off of the thing just the whole time.
Totally.
No, we're not doing that. Sorry, that was super corny, guys. You did not come here for that. So, Brandy, how long have you been the vice president for our local ISACA chapter?
I've been the vice president for, what's this? 7 months. I'm new to the position of vice president, but I've been involved with the board this is my 3rd year. My previous position was as programs manager, and so I knew I wanted to get a little bit more involved, a little bit more in the weeds with it. Vice president gave me a great opportunity to do it under a president who was the former vice president, who kind of got his feet wet and knew what was going on. So I'm learning the ropes. I haven't decided if I wanted to move up or just kind of stay in this space, or we'll see how it goes. These
Sounds good.
Normal times. So what this job probably 3 years ago ain't like what it is now, but it's fun and I really enjoy it. I like being involved in the profession. I've been doing audit for 15 years, close to. So it's good to be in it this way.
Yeah, that's more time than I would put into it. So good job.
Yeah.
What's the thing you love most about it? What really gets you excited?
And tell me the honest things that we talked about yesterday at lunch, Brandy. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Okay.
The thing with audit is if you're blessed enough to be able to do risk-based work in an enterprise environment, you get to touch all kinds of stuff. You're touching apps, you're touching databases, you're touching middleware, you're looking at monitoring processes, you're looking at monitoring tools, you're up in firewalls and access control reviews. You can really touch a lot of things. Whereas when you're on the operations side and you're the vulnerability guy, or maybe the CERT guys get to touch a lot of stuff too, but not necessarily on the operations side. You don't get quite that exposure. Now, by extension, it means you have to work really hard because you're also not a subject matter expert in any of these things as a general rule, because you're touching so much. That's just the nature of what it is. But the ability, a lot of people come into audit and find their space while doing audits of different, these different IT areas. IT is massive. I've known auditors who have gone into the vulnerability management space, who have moved into security architecture and begun working more on the risk evaluations on the cybersecurity side. People who do operations and move into change management or IT service management. Audit is a great starting place for stuff like that, because it gives you that kind of exposure. You just don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm always in the audit situation, right? When you have auditors come through, do you have any advice? And let me preface that bit, because I've been in many situations in the past where you have folks that feel that when auditors come in, you need to, it's like a legal situation to where you only give the, least amount of information that is absolutely required, as opposed to realizing that the auditors are on your side and that what you're trying to do is bring a cohesive, positive change and development to that. And every time we've done that, we've found that the next audit that comes up is always a whole lot better to work with because we've already established that relationship. I bet you've come across that in the past.
I have, and that's actually been kind of a hallmark of my career. It's when I became an auditor, like I said, and I became an auditor by accident. We may have time to kind of get into how that occurred. But when I became an auditor, my attitude was always, my job is to help you as an organization or as a practice. I began in public sector audit. So I would go to, executive level agencies in the state, and you talk about hostility. Nobody wants to see a legislative auditor. And they don't care if you're cute, and they don't care if you're smart. They don't want to see you. They want you to leave. And they want you to leave without talking to their people or taking any of their stuff. Because when you're a legislative auditor in this state, at least, all the audit reports are public. It's all public record. So yeah, there's always that kind of hostility. But even on the internal audit side, there can be some of this. My goal was always, as an auditor, and I think nearly all auditors are like this. My job is to help you as an organization to make sure that you're doing the right stuff the right way. Your general that you have good controls in place, that you're serving the taxpayers as effectively and as safely as you possibly can, or in the private sector, that you're serving your clients as safely and as effectively as you can. You keep up with new technologies, you do all this stuff, but I always looked at it as a partnership. And part of that partnership, in all honesty, is, as I say, you do your due diligence in your research, you study what you're looking at, you do good, honest planning, but then you sit down with those subject matter experts, and when you don't understand something, you ask those guys. They're supposed to be they're the subject matter experts. I am not supposed to be, as an auditor, please, I am not supposed to be a subject matter expert on your business process when I come to see you. I have an understanding of your business process, and it is my job to gain an understanding. But if I don't know something, I need you to tell me what I'm getting wrong. It's super important. But that makes us effective partners. One of the things I always do when I audit is as I sit down with these business owners, I take my walkthroughs, I take my notes, I do all my stuff, and then I look at them and I say, tell me what you need to do your job more effectively. And if there is something that I can do to help facilitate that. And that's not so that I can massage an audit finding out of nothing. But it is because when you engage a subject matter expert, 9 times out of 10, in fact, I'll tell you honestly, I don't think I've ever had one say, no, there's nothing I need. There's nothing we can do better. This thing rocks. there's always something. There's always something. Cybersecurity guys are really good for this too. Almost all IT audits have cybersecurity overlap in some way. And when you talk to the cyber guys about what some of these business processes are and what their takes on those are, it's sit down with them. Okay, what do you think about that? And most of the time they're like,
sound like I plead the fifth. You know what? You should start bringing like a spotlight in a darkened room and like, what do you think? Where were you? September 18th at 11 a.m.
But see, when you reputationally, then they don't like you and they won't talk to you anymore. And then they give you the minimal stuff.
That's true.
The other part of your question, Will, too, was that the audits that I've had that have been the most successful are the ones where they were the auditee was just like, here's my stuff. I did an audit on one of our business processes in IT years ago where I sat with that manager and his team, and they did a half a day of nothing but what they do. Here's the PowerPoint, here's the documentation to support it. What are your questions? And I left with a stack like this, but it was one of the cleanest audits I've ever done. I didn't have to chase things down. They were super awesome with questions that I had. Like I said, as subject matter experts, they know things that I don't, and that I wouldn't necessarily be expected to know as a non-SME. It's the cooperation was awesome, and I'm still. Even though I've moved into a slightly different space, I work in the compliance space now on the IT side. But I'm still, those guys are people I used to audit are now my teammates, and we still have an amazing and incredible relationship because we were able to build that trust very early. Even if something is wrong, man, use audit as a club. Auditors are happy to be that guy.
Yeah, so I got to tell you, the person that set the stage best for me, anyway, whenever it came to working with or collaborating with auditors or giving me any kind of insight of what that might be like for cybersecurity teams was actually Jonathan Kimmett, who I think is now the chapter president for the Tulsa ISSA, which I know we partner with quite often on different things and events. Not that chapter, but ISSA as a whole. Okay, there we go. Sorry, that was confusing. Sorry.
Very brief moment. Say, hi, Dorilla. I see you.
Yeah.
Right over
this,
there.
I love. Oh, wait, that way. I love our scrolling chat. It's really fun. It's super fun. And if you guys have a question up there and like I haven't seen it, don't worry. Like just put it again, and because that'll throw rocks at me, and I'll get it. But Jonathan Kimmett.
I am starved for like people time and attention and stuff. So
I know that's what I love about you so much. I love that about you. It's one of my favorite things. So you're good, definitely. But Jonathan used to mention to me often about how well him and his even like third-party auditors or internal auditor, how well they all work together. And I really liked that, right? So then when I would go, because not knowing anything about auditor other than the word auditor, it sounds scary, right? Like just I don't know.
All over it. Like the second you start this, you're just like, it's a deficit.
I know. I'm like, this is going to be all the ways they can tell me why I'm wrong. Like that's what this is going to be. So I get the fear in it and stuff. So it was really nice whenever I heard that there were, and besides Jonathan, there were others that came along too that were like, oh no, I always work really well with my auditors and all this stuff. So whenever y'all were like, hey, Rachel, you want to come hang out with us more? I was like, yeah, do I? Yes, I do. You crazy auditors, you.
You're getting good with them, and what I mean, I can speak for my organization and my own personal experience. Auditors on the internal side, if you have corporate buy-in and you have a strong audit charter and an engaged audit committee, auditors have a lot of discretionary power in your organization, and they can make you suffer. Now saying it the way that I just said it makes audit sound like a really hostile entity.
is that?
And that's not what it's about. And I don't know any auditor that approaches it that way. But I think that perception exists on the non-audit side, on our audit T side, where it's just like, dang it, all these auditors, man, all they do is come in and they write this stuff, and then I can't do operational work because I have to mess around with this, that, and the other. But I think a lot of that tension and hostility just kind of makes it worse. It's almost like one of those, I'm not trying to hurt you, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help, and if what I'm asking of you is unreasonable, then tell me where the middle ground is. Tell me how I can work with you. Tell me why you think this risk that I've assessed the way that I have is in error, and what we can do to make it different. As an auditor, when I approach those conversations in that way, I just get it a lot better. But sometimes, man, if somebody just doesn't want to hear it, they just don't want to hear it, and I have to write the report.
Look, this is my friend.
Hey, Jonathan.
His ears must have been burning.
Well, I've got a question for you. So, from the audit perspective, you're in a unique position, right? When you coming from the operations side, right? Yeah, it does mean a whole lot of work, but a lot of times it means a whole lot of work because either there's not enough staff, there's not enough resources, there's not that coming into play. So also, when you are looking to properly do compliance, the lists that come out of like NIST or COVID or something are considerable.
Yes.
So from your perspective, looking at the nation as a whole, looking at the complexity that's in what you do, where do you see things that should be changed? I mean, would you change the complexity in ways, or do you see difficulties across the nation that could help solve some of this problem? What from your perspective, what do you think would be some of the best things to do if you could completely change the industry?
If I could completely change the industry and this was, unicorn land, I would have auditors have operational experience, but I would also have operators have audit experience. I would eliminate the silos as much as I can. I think based on my experience, I don't know if I said this to the broader chat, but one of the things that I do on the side, aside from my regular day job, is that for the last 2 springs and hopefully for the 3rd consecutive spring coming up in 2022, I teach the IT audit course at LSU, and it's a senior level course, and it's basically the CISA review course for ISDS majors. ISDS is the Information Systems and Decision Sciences Bachelor of Science degree that comes through the business school at LSU. And it's what my undergraduate degree is in. Go Tigers! Got that in. But one of the things I see now as an instructor is more integration in that the students that are coming into my course have looked at AWS. They've looked at programming in Python. They have far more extensive visibility and hands-on experience with databases and database management than we had when I was coming through that. I think that's huge. I think it makes I know personally from my own personal perspective, it's made such a big difference in how I audit that I have that background experience. It's really nice to have your goals to be way up here, but you have tools and this is what they do. Period. So I can have them way up here, and if this is what the tool does, then what are the other things that potentially we can do to get us maybe to here?
Right.
Everybody's an automated solution.
Yeah.
And we want super secure systems and everything to be great, but people have to be able to work.
Yeah.
We have to be able to get the job done. We have to be able to serve our clients. We have to be able to do this in not 12 days. If I needed something to take 12 days, I'd put it in the regular mail. We're well past that. So that personally is what I would do. I think the younger generation is getting that. Now on the operations side, that's not so much true. I think all you operators need to take some audit classes, man. just to kind of get that perspective on what it is we're looking for and why we're looking for it in that way. Maybe why auditors are a little bit less technically focused than you would like, because you're looking at the tools and what they do, and we're looking at the governance of the entire enterprise and how those things fold in operationally to corporate strategy, to your enterprise goals, to any number of things that you don't necessarily care about, because you're doing your job and you're doing your job to the best of your ability. It's almost never about some dude who's just sitting there and he's, like the guy on the hovercraft, he's playing Galaga and he's not handling his business. It's almost never that. It's always some alignment problem between the process and what the organization's goals are. So, don't take it personally. But I strongly recommend, as much as auditors have to figure out, all these operational things to keep up with these emerging and new technologies, I strongly recommend that people in the operations and the cybersecurity space also go back and and look at some of this boring audit stuff. Even if you don't sit through a class, at least go through some of these resources and see why we're asking for what we're asking, because auditors are just like everybody else. If somebody else has figured out how to do it and how to put it in a spreadsheet and how to tell me what it is I need to do, I'm not going to do it myself. I'm going to go and find those resources, and then I'm going to take them and customize them to what I need to do for my organization. So since the resources are there for everybody to see, go look at those.
Right. My pal Mike Long asks, speaking of, there might be a delay too, so sometimes if the questions come a little later, I always promise we'll get back around to them if there are pretty awesome questions. So anyway, speaking of automation, thoughts on Azure Policy Cloud and compliance management?
I'm actually I'm going to defer that, but I have a reason. I'm actually looking into this now. I can tell you that ISACA does have a pretty extensive audit program that involves cloud governance and cloud operations, and I am literally in the process of combing through that now, because I anticipate that our internal auditors are going to come give us a visit around our cloud governance. I can tell you that I know there's going to be a lot of questions around it. I know that auditors are going to have a challenge because cloud governance doesn't look 100% like on-prem governance does. Although it looks like on-prem governance, there are things that we're going to have to look at, especially on the security side, but also in the contract and vendor space, because a lot of the things that our organizations were doing for our own on-prem systems are now the responsibility of somebody else. So we need to make doubly sure that there's contract language that tells us what these things are, that we're allowed to even audit them. The dynamic is very different. That's actually my big push for the next probably 12 to 18 months, is to really get a good solid footing under myself of what cloud governance needs to look like. I'm taking I'm studying for a couple of certificates. I just took an Azure fundamentals class. We're going there full speed ahead, and I love the concept of cloud. It used to scare me bad. In some parts of it still does, but I can totally understand why an enterprise would look at that from a cost perspective and be like, oh, totally.
So one of the things that I really was illuminated to, but because I was asked to join the board and was already a member, but wasn't really utilizing all of my resources there, because as somebody in my role, I was like, I need to know kind of some of these things, kind of, right? But like, Mike just asked me a question, and Brandy just said, there's some things, and I'm researching into them. With your membership for ISACA, and there's student rates too. Like, it's not nuts or anything, and you can always ask your organization help you out there.
If you want me to take this last 4 minutes or so, I'll run through some of that really quick.
Yeah. Like I did, like auditing the cloud, Microsoft Azure. Here you go. There's a whole journal on it of 10 pages worth of information that I get to fill my brain with later. Like,
if you're a member of ISACA, that audit program is free. So let me run through this a little bit. I'm not specifically speaking about the Baton Rouge chapter right now, and really, I haven't the whole time.
It's there's a chapter near you. Trust me, reach out. Don't worry. Like you can go to isaca.org and look for a chapter that's close to where you live.
Yes.
Right. And if they're too far,
will actually automatically enroll you in a chapter based on your zip code. They'll enroll you in the closest one, unless there's, I think, a significant distance. And then if you don't have one, you have the option to not do that. I know if you join the Baton Rouge chapter, it's $35 a year in addition to whatever you're spending on your membership fee. The membership fee for ISACA annually is $135. There is a $30 application fee if you do paper or fax. If you apply online, it is a $10 application fee. And right now, ISACA is actually running a membership option. They're doing a half-off membership for the rest of the year. So if you join before January, if you join before July 31st, your membership fee will be $67.50 for the rest of this year. ISACA memberships run January to December, regardless of when you join. So you would pay $67.50. You would pay whatever your local ISACA chapter dues are, and I think they're all pretty reasonable. And you would pay the $10 application fee, because I'm sure everyone here would do this online. And when you do that, you get a number of things. You get to look at some of the, you get free access to a lot of the resources that I've spoken about all throughout here. But you also get discounts on many of the certifications that ISACA offers. I'm going to talk about a couple here, but there's more than just this. Obviously, the Certified Information Systems Auditor is the flagship of ISACA. That is the CISA. That is, if you are a member of ISACA, it is a it's just a little bit north of $500 to take that exam. There are requirements. Just because you take the CISA and pass the CISA doesn't mean you are a CISA, because you have some requirements for being active within the profession.
Right.
And it's 2 years. One of those years can get shaved off if you have a tech degree. But
right. So for employers, the certifications really help to give that kind of at a glance validity, right, to what level of professional you are and how engaged you are, without having to list out all these things and go find all this OSINT out about you or ask you a question.
Absolutely. When I started with the legislative auditor, I had just passed the CISA, and I didn't know it yet, because back then you had to wait like 2 months to get your results. But they knew I took it, and they knew I'd taken the class, and just knowing that I had done that is what got me that job. Every job I've had as a professional since I graduated college has been because I have that CISA. It's not the only thing that I have. I have some other stuff. It probably helps now, but the CISA has been invaluable. It has paid for itself over and over again, especially since when I knew that I had passed, the legislative auditor refunded my testing for me. A lot of your organizations will do that. So save them a little money, become a member, and then they don't have to pay $700 or $800 for this thing. They can pay the $550 when you pass. We all pass our stuff. They have the Certified Information Systems Manager. ISACA has moved into the cybersecurity space and a lot more into technologies. So there's a lot of certifications available now. One of the current new certificates, not certification, is the Certified in Cloud Audit Knowledge, which is one of the certificates I'm pursuing this year, because I need to know it, because I need to be able to engage the auditors about what it is they're coming in to look at. I need to know the same stuff that they're looking at. I don't know if there are any kind of questions about that. All of this is available at ISACA.org, but I really wanted to mention the half off membership for the rest of this year, because it's really a good resource. If I was getting audited all the time, I'd be up in here constantly. As an auditor, I'm up in here constantly. I think it's a resource available to you, especially for the price, man. You can't beat it.
Yeah, definitely not. One thing that I really like, so since I've come to help out, right? Because it's a volunteer position. You guys can volunteer, okay? You can go to your chapter and be like, I want to help do things. I want to do all the things, right? Be super excited. I don't know. Look, when I got here, the LinkedIn ISACA Baton Rouge chapter was looking kind of dusty, so I was like, let's pull the dust off of that bad boy. That's going to be first. So like they're all like, no. We were all sitting around at lunch yesterday, guys. And I was like, y'all, we need to have a workshop. All right. We're about to have at a Baton Rouge ISACA chapter LinkedIn workshop right here. Okay. We're going to work this out because woo. Woo.
Yeah.
We're working on that. So it's go follow it. Help your girl out just a little bit. Go follow. Because right now what I'm doing is just kind of dismantling the ISACA.org page into like happy little snack sized chunks and sharing those through the social media outlets. And I came across one the other day, and I'm in so many of these communities where people are like breaking into cybersecurity, and I'm going to get there, and I don't know how to get my foot in the door. And I'm like, great, make friends, right? And they're like, how do I make friends? I'm like, we go say hi to a lot of people, and then somebody will say hi back, like eventually. Another way to do that is by volunteer. I'm serious. Why are you not trying to be mean? That's exactly. You just got to really put yourself out there, guys. Do what your mama said. Like that's truth. So I don't know about y'all, but look, when I was a little kid, I got on my mom's nerves. You probably, right? Shock. So she would bring me outside and like, go play. And I'm like, who am I going to play with? And she's like, I don't know, make friends. I'm like, thanks, Mom. I made a lot.
Oh yeah. Get out.
So one of the things that I came across the other day that was super cool was the fact that you can, where's the volunteer page? Great. I shared it. Perfect. This is wonderful. There are ways to volunteer. And on top of that, I read that you can contribute to like a blog writing pool, and then your stuff will be published by ISACA, right? Okay, everybody following along here? If you're coming into cybersecurity and you on your resume are like, I published an academic level blog for ISACA. Cool. I'm just saying. Okay, that's a really shiny thing that you did right there. Okay, you should highlight it. But there are all kinds of ways to volunteer. You can, be a genie in a bottle slave and like, poof, what do you need, right? To your board. They want your help and participation. You can, go tell a friend, share resources with other folks is always fun. Obviously, become a member. There's networking things. There are chapters out there that specific to their area, they will do, obviously age of COVID, nobody was doing much of anything, but like they do networking events. So you're going to meet other people in your area. If you're in cybersecurity, IT, or audit, right? It's not just to audit, because just like what Brandy was talking about, trying to understand the perspective that your auditors are coming from, and then also giving them the opportunity to understand your perspective is going to do nothing but good things for your life. And for theirs.
Just like Brandy said, especially for students, folks that are getting that, is to broaden the perspective beyond just what knobs do I twist, but to understand that when you get into IT, it's about the organization as a whole. It's about serving and working with people. And that's invaluable.
It really is. I'm going to do a shameless plug for Baton Rouge chapter, and just a little. So one of the things we talked a little bit about COVID. Obviously, COVID has changed everything. But one of the things that has changed from our perspective is, of course, we used to do monthly lunch or bi-monthly lunch and learns. We did several per year, and they were a meetup. You pay $30, you get a nice meal, you get a nice lecture or presentation from somebody in the field or peripheral to the field. Obviously, all of that stuff has moved online now, and what that has done is give us the opportunity to talk to anyone, anywhere, at a much lower price point. We can do webinars for free. We have it to, I think, Rachel, do you know the number? I think it's up to like 100 participants on a webinar, and it's free.
For ours, we have room for like 1,000 or something.
Okay, see that
like a bunch.
That gives us the opportunity to really have speakers who know their stuff come in. And what I would ask of anybody who's on the call and working in the operations space, the network space, the cybersecurity space, think about what you need from your auditors. Think about like seriously what you legitimately need. Not in the confrontational, I hate these guys, oh crap, here they come again way. But in the legitimate professional, what do I need from my auditors? What can they tell me that will help me to do my job better? And then call Rachel or call me and come tell my auditors in the Baton Rouge chapter and whoever else calls into the call what those things are. Come give us an hour of your time. If you're in the greater Baton Rouge area, we might buy you lunch. I
will at least take you for ice cream at McDonald's.
I'm serious as a heart attack here. Come tell auditors what you need from us. I will take that personally, and I will give it to my students in the spring, so that the new ones that are coming up know what the current perspective is. I can't ask for more than that really from anyone. The things we need to know. The cybersecurity is constantly changing. A lot of tools and operations are constantly changing. If you're a guy in the cloud space, please come talk to us. Come talk to us more than once.
Like, that's what the whole organization was stood up for, was right. To be a resource and a way to easily go, aha, there's the people. Right? There they are. These people know other people and they know lots of things, and they're just magical wizards of knowing things. No, we're not really. We know how to find and share links. That's
right. But please share your experiences with us too, because that can only make us better. And that by extension will make your experiences with auditors better. And that's the goal. That's what we're going for. We want to keep everybody's information safe. We want to keep our organization safe and efficient and running well and keeping everybody paid. Because the baser needs better too. And that's what I would ask of anybody on this call. If you're not impressed with my presentation or my hair, find your local find your local ISACA chapter and talk to those guys. They'll be happy to hear from you too.
Yeah, because if you don't like Brandy's hair, we don't want you here. I'm just
no. Oh, don't tell people that.
I'm just kidding. We'll consider it. But you have to like Brandy's hair.
Whatever.
I love Brandy's hair. What are you talking about? I shared a link. It's down here. It's hanging out for the volunteer opportunities, how to volunteer at Engage. It's called, ISACA calls it Engage with ISACA, right? All kinds of helpful links. So again, check it out, click around the site and find out, look, I'm going to tell you a fun little thing. If you type in CISA into LinkedIn in the search thing, and then click that people button, and then search by your local area, like knock the location down to like your metropolitan area, you have just found an entire list of people who have something to tell you about your local ISACA chapter. Something. They can tell you what it was like to take the exam, what it was like to be certified, the events that they participate in, whatever. They can tell you something. And look, I did this the other day with one of those, and I was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago with Paul Cummings, and I had no idea what I was getting into. And then suddenly I was tearing apart somebody's LinkedIn page, like right there in front of a crowd of like 50 people. I had permission. Okay. Her name is Eva. She's very nice. Eva's very cool. You should go check out Eva. I forgot what her last name is. Eva. And I showed that to her. I was like, look, you want to do this? Put this this credential in, search for people, and knock it down to your local area. And now there's all the people you want to go invite to Starbucks. Go make friends, right? I'm gonna be the mean mommy, and I'm gonna kick you guys outside and tell you don't come home until you've made friends.
That's the human API in action, folks.
That's the thing. Yeah. And look, John's right. Look, hang on. Let me click over to this thing over here. Slide down. Boom. We are always looking for great speakers, right? And you don't have to be in the audit side. You can be in the cybersecurity side, the IT side, right? Because just like Brandy said, the more we collaborate and understand one another's perspectives, the better environment we're going to create for working together smoothly and being able to help each other, right? Because that's what it's all about. We don't want to be separate anymore. We want to lock arms, right? Like this is getting serious out there in the digital world. All right.
Yes.
Like Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Let's be friends. That way it doesn't hurt
Yes.
much. So anyway, we could probably go on and on.
We all think that the auditors are coming in like, darn, darn. We hate it too. I mean, like,
Yeah, they're like
when it's tense and kind of like we don't like that, man. Nobody wants that.
They're just like everybody else. They want to be loved too.
That's what it's not even necessarily that, although that kind of matters a little bit. But it's, well, I got. This is how I make my living, y'all. I got to do this job.
Right? Exactly.
And I'm really trying to help. There's just no need for all the hostility.
But you need an auditor for people too t-shirt.
So look, now you know a little bit more about ISACA, right? Everybody hanging out. I saw where it started, where it went to, kind of what they're covering now, right? You understand that the board members are amazing. There we go, that way. Are amazing. Not that you're not amazing, Will, but amazing. Right? And open to engagement and answering questions and helping you. And we're not going to be like, you have to be a member. Like, no, we'll just answer questions. Like, we know you're just, eventually we'll get to that. But at first,
yeah, it's coming.
Right? Because we drank all the Kool-Aid. We want you to drink it too. Let's be real here, okay? And anything about certification, any of that stuff, right? Now you all know how to do that. You know how to volunteer. You know how to find the people that are already engaged in ISACA that don't necessarily, put on their LinkedIn profiles or a yard sign in their front yard that are like, hey, I'm an ISACA person. Come knock on my door and hit up my DMs, right? Search by the certifications, all the alphabet soup. Search by all of the ISACA alphabet soup, and you will find all the people that know all the things. And we've had some great commentary and feedback here in the chat. I know I saw Jonathan Kimmett more than once. Auditors are awesome, and Mike Long and Peter Gregg. I love it. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming and hanging out. Brandy, did you have any closing thoughts?
Not really. I yammered on, and we've gone a little bit over. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here. This was a lot of fun. I've enjoyed the feedback and in the comments and watching that scroll. I am able to see that, guys. Thank you for taking the time to let me talk at you for a little bit. And the offers to engage are 100% serious, and I look forward to seeing where this goes, and I'm happy to come back anytime.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to have you come back. I know there's a couple of events that ISACA they're gearing up for. Let's see which. Oh, and they've also got that really cool thing where it's like Ask Me Anythings with different industry professionals. Those are freaking amazing, and I'm pretty sure are free to join. So if you guys just want to go and test the waters out while you're hanging out in your jammies on your couch and you don't want to talk to people, you can do that too. That's okay. I do it some days. I'm not judging you. You go ahead. You can have your stretchy pants, okay? I'm wearing a dress today.
Awesome.
I wore
to be like the guy that made slacks for a living, and now he's like.
I mean, y'all may think that I dress up for y'all on Fridays, but really it's just because it's laundry day and I ran out of stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and if you're down that area, I mean, just being able to go and hang out with Brandy is, it's going to be a good time, right?
Yeah. Look, and Brandy knows how to make a mean old fashioned.
I do. I will accept that humbly.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna test this theory out soon. But yeah. And look, I don't live that far from my favorite coffee shop. If you guys are in this area, I will be more than happy. You can meet the hubs. Well, whatever. I'm not gonna make you meet my kids. That would be horrible for you. But like, I'll bring the husband. That's traumatic for people that don't have children. Okay, like I know I have had people come to my life that are like, I can't wait to be a parent, and then they hang out with my 3 monsters, and they're like, on second thought, and I'm like, yeah, boo, I know. It's not for everybody. Okay, it's okay. You consider it. Yeah, but anyway, I'll look, coffee shop. Hit me up anytime. Totally, all my contact information is on LinkedIn. You can find me there. You can DM me. We're on 5 platforms right now, Brandy. I didn't want to scare you. So we're on LinkedIn. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitch. All my contact info is there. If you want Brandy's contact info, I will vet you out first and make sure you're not creepy, and then I will share. I will responsibly share. And Will lives in
or you text me, you need to tell me who you are and leave me a message, or I'm going to block you.
Don't make it weird, guys.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
but hey, Brandy, thanks for giving us that different perspective. Seeing it from the auditor's eyes. That's incredibly valuable.
Awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad. I hope y'all got something out of it, and I was delighted to be here. So thanks for the opportunity.
You were awesome.
Yeah. Thanks so much. We will see you guys. We're not going to be here next week. Sorry, I've got something going on. I love you guys though. So catch us on August the 6th. We're going to be hanging out with Cyber 6 Gil. I'm not sure who yet because nobody's confirmed. I hope they see this and feel lots of pressure. but anyway, we'll be talking with them for a little while. So y'all stay safe, take care of each other, make friends. We love you.